Hey everyone, we're back. Welcome back. We're here with one of my most anticipated movies of the year, Lego Movie, the second one.
What's it called? The second?
It's like Lego Movie 2, the second one or something like that. I don't know, it's very complicated. Okay, so the first Lego Movie was definitely one of my favorite anime movies of all time. It's definitely one of the best animated movies of this decade. And it's just a clever, intelligent, funny as fuck film.
Very unique.
Very unique, and
Came
it
out
works.
of nowhere.
It's not like one of those Lego movies. Before the Lego Movie existed, there were like those weird animated Lego movies that were just like Lego Batman, and he's just like Lego Batman, but it's still like weird like movies. This one actually works with the Lego, it's a Lego movie. It's the Lego movie, and it works amazing. And
here we are, right? 5 years later, 2 Lego movies later, we had Lego Batman, Lego Ninjago.
And just a quick recap. Lego Batman was great if you're a fan of Batman. Terrible if you're not a fan of Batman. And Lego Ninjago was panned, which is weird because I actually enjoyed it.
I haven't seen either.
Certainly the weakest of the 3 that came before Lego Movie 2. But there's still some enjoyment out of it, and there's still some cool moments, I thought.
Lego really pulled something out of their ass with this movie franchise. The look looks really unique because they wanted to make it look like a fan made stop motion movie, which has a lot of character. And Phil Lord and Chris Miller had a very unique kind of comedy tone to the Lego movie, which was everything was just new and refreshing and interesting, and it was surprising because it's Lego. You wouldn't really expect them to make something like this. So
certainly a surprise. And we're here with another surprise. Lego Movie 2, the second one, and I gotta say, as a massive fan of the first one,
it was amazing.
This is the best movie of the decade. Sure. Okay, this movie, let's forget all that. This is one of the most saddening cinematic experiences I've ever had in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. This was a disappointment.
Yeah,
Judging from the trailer really didn't give much info about the movie. It just kind of said, we're saving Wild Style, whatever. I was expecting some kind of cool, like, twist or direction that they would take. And no, it didn't. There was nothing unique about this film. Instead of being a film for everybody, like the first one was, this is a kid's movie. It is a kid's movie. There's nothing else to it. There's no subtle themes or clever, quippy dialogue.
There's references to things that kids would have no idea about, which was kind of random.
They're not done like cohesively in like
a
the first one.
way where they're incorporated into the story.
Yeah, it's just very random, and it's very weird because this film was written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are very talented. They did the first one obviously, as we talked about, which was incredible, and with this one, it almost seemed like it was written by 2 guys who were trying to be like Phil Lord and Chris Miller, where a lot of the dialogue was like, oh yeah, reference here, reference there. It just didn't work at all. The story itself is extremely weak. We won't say anything about it because the trailer didn't say anything about it. But it's so stupid. It's really so stupid. And there's a couple twists near the end which add to the extravagant amount of plot holes that this film has. I just came out of this thing frustrated and kind of turned off of the Lego franchise. I really don't know where are they just going to make kids movies now? Like this.
There were a lot of things that the first one did really, really well, intentionally, which is kind of a rare instance nowadays. People usually have a lot of happy accidents with movies, and I think the Lego movie was kind of like that. I think Lego had an idea, they didn't realize it would take off like it did, and then in this one, I feel like everything that they tried to do that was different, instead of going really well, it fell flat on its face and failed in a really terrible way. Without spoilers, there's a lot of musical numbers.
They come out of absolutely nowhere.
And they're not interesting. And they're actually kind of, in a way, redundant.
And contradictory as well to the plot of the movie. But keep going.
Every time a musical number comes on, the same person sings it and leads it. And
Yeah.
And the lyrics are very weak. They're not very funny either. They're way more annoying. I
Mhm.
actually, there were a lot of things that we didn't like because there's like a kids thing. They're just doing this for little kids and stuff. I don't actually get the music. I don't see the appeal a musical number like that would have for kids.
It's just far too random to understand. And it's not like too intelligent for us to get. It's really just random. The new characters they introduced in this film are also extremely weak.
Yeah, those were.
There wasn't one character that stood out to me, which is crazy because the first one introduced so many fucking characters. This one only introduced mainstays, like 3.
And they didn't really do much in the movie. Yeah, the movie revolved around Emmett a lot, like the first one did, but this movie also felt the most disconnected from Emmett. It felt a lot about, I feel like it was focused on Wildstyle, which was kind of weird because they built up so many things about Wildstyle that they never even answered within the movie.
It's really weird. In a lot of ways, this film also reminded me of Ant-Man and the Wasp, where Paul Rudd's character was exaggeratedly stupid in that film. Where in this film, Emmett is exaggeratedly happy, and the whole point of the film is shown later, but it's just really stupid, and it makes no sense, and they don't explain it. It's just they needed it for the plot, so they just made him extremely happy. And Wildstyle is very dark and brooding, even though in the first one, she wasn't that. She was just sure, she was an emo chick, but she never was like Batman, where she was only dark and only depressing and all that stuff. She was quite optimistic in the first one.
These characters weren't caricatures. They were characters that had a lot of, things that would make them resemble people that we would actually know. They felt like they were treated like real people. And, and the first one was nice is that Emmett would try to be happy.
Yes.
But the thing was, he really wasn't, and he was just trying to cover it up, which was very interesting. In Wildstyle, she had a soft spot, especially the Emmett brought out in her, which was interesting. In this movie, Emmett's always happy, and Wildstyle is always concerned and sad. And all the characters just are the emotions that they would portray on the surface, but not deep down inside.
And that's not to say they don't try to develop the characters, because they do. You know what I mean?
Try is a good word.
But it's try. Nothing, it just doesn't work. I think the most saddening part for me was I was annoyed watching this movie. I was just straight up annoyed.
It was pretty annoying, especially on a superficial level. The theatrics were annoying. Just the look of it and the sound of it.
Yes.
And just
the story itself was very annoying as well.
And then deep down, the choices annoyed us as well. It was frustrating and annoying.
Yes. And there was tons and tons of, as we mentioned earlier, there was tons of musical acts. There was also just songs that they also played a lot of times. There's this one song in particular, which we won't spoil, but it is literally the most annoying song ever. And every time it played, I wanted to hang myself in the theater.
Everything is awesome was funny because, for one, that core everything is awesome. That's not even a musical line.
Yeah.
Really. That's just a phrase that they try to incorporate into song. And the Lonely Island's little thing on there was funny too. It's just
it works with the film as well. In this second movie, they throw a song out that's it's aware of, it's a woke song, right? Everything is awesome. Where it's trying to make a statement on society, but it doesn't work for the film because the film's point isn't that. And also, it's just a repetition of what they did with the first one, except worse, because the song is literally the most annoying thing ever. You know what I mean? In the first one, everything is awesome. Sure, it's not the best song ever or anything like that, but it works with the film because it's a statement on the society that the Lego Movie is building. And they literally play it to death. In the opening, they're playing it 24/7. It's hilarious. Mm-hmm. And this film is just it's really just kills you. It kills you. I mean, there's really not much else to say about this thing. This thing is just very disappointing, and we did not come in hating it.
We were both really excited.
I was so excited for this thing because Phil Lord and Chris Miller, while they weren't directing it, they were still behind it screenplay wise and story wise, which excited me a lot. And the cast came back, everything was great, and I came out so disappointed, and it's heartbreaking. It really is.
Some positives. I personally thought that the beginning, I thought this was going to be, a pretty worthwhile sequel because the intro is very interesting with the post-apocalypse kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. It's cool to see the characters all in a completely different place. It's a sequel thing, and it worked. And also, the beginning was a huge Mad Max Fury Road reference, which I enjoyed as well.
Yeah, I think one more thing that I want to mention was kind of a thing they could have done for the film, which you brought up, was like a Toy Story 2 thing where they could have kind of expanded on the universe, because the universe they built in the first one was fucking awesome, and it worked with the Lego setting that they had. They had this huge advantage where they have hundreds and hundreds of brands with Lego. They could have explored that universe more, but instead, without spoilers, they just kind of go into this different thing that is kind of confusing as to where they are story-wise, and is just not interesting at all, and is annoying, as I've mentioned before.
I mean, you guys know, Duplo's involved, right? The thing that was cool about the first one is that you went to so many different places, and each place was completely unique. And this one, without giving anything away, the Duplo world doesn't really have much to it.
And it's very lame.
But the thing is, Duplo has stuff to it. Duplo is its own Lego theme entirely, and they could have done something with it. It's just in this movie, they didn't do anything with it. You felt like you were just in a place that was a place. It wasn't really the Duplo world or
exactly.
the Little Sisters world. There wasn't that kind of, cool little flair that each world had anymore. Everything was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm at a place, but the place isn't really themed very well.
As we said before, I think the best summary for this film is it's a kids movie.
It's pretty backwards too. The kids would never pick up on that, but the morals of the movie
Are so in your face and obvious.
Lego Movie's first one was great because Lord Business and everything, right? He wants things to be the way they're supposed to be. That was the whole motto he had. And then what was cool is that, the son, Finn, wanted to be creative. And that's what Lego's all about,
Exactly.
Creativity. It's not, things aren't supposed to be the way they are. They're supposed to be however you want them to. And that was great.
And it was also like a real life situation. Like that works with Legos. You know what I mean?
This is, people actually relate to this. In this movie, I think some people might relate to what they were trying to do. But the thing is, I don't know what they were trying to do personally. And I don't know.
It doesn't work. It works with anything. It's not exclusive to Lego, which made the first Lego movie so unique. This film is not unique at all. You could take Lego out of it and just call it, movie 2, whatever. It wouldn't make a fucking difference. It just wouldn't make a difference. And that's just what kills me, because there's so many creative minds behind this thing. And I don't know what happened. I know there was a third writer on this thing, aside from Phil and Chris Miller. I don't know if he had something to do with this fucking mess of a story. I don't know what happened, but I just came out very sad.
Also, another little side note, the animation in the first one and the other subsequent Lego movies, they wanted to make it kind of look like a fan-made stop motion with that kind of thing, And this one, it really looks just normal. Again, like you said, you take the Lego away, it's just an animated movie. Even just take the title away and just look at the movie, it just feels like an animated movie. It doesn't feel like Legos.
There were moments where I could tell that they tried to do the stop motion thing, but yes, it was weird. And they tried to jam like hundreds of different messages down your throat and themes in this film, which was really annoying. But I don't know. I mean,
it reminded me of Inside Out, like you said, after we watched the movie. The thing is, like, this theme of the movie, like Inside Out's theme, is white people. Honestly, I'm just gonna say it's like a white thing, It's a kids of privilege problem this movie has. The first one was cool because anybody can relate to this. Trying to be creative versus listening to what people tell you to do. This one it seems like such a rich kid problem. The moral. I'm just like, oh god, really? They can't just. You can't just do something that applies to at least just more people. I mean, it doesn't have to be as good as the first one, but this is just really, a bratty kid problem that they solve in the movie. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is Inside Out, where she moves and she wants to kill herself because she moved away. It's like, oh my god, it's so stupid.
Overall, I guess, as I've said like 100 times in this review, the one word I could use to describe this movie is just disappointing. I had so much to look forward to in this film, and I don't think I overhyped myself. I think, I was excited, obviously, but, I wasn't expecting a masterpiece like the first one is, I was hoping it would still be good, all that. I just, the promise that they had with the first one just wasn't delivered with this one. It was a mess, both story-wise and just what they were trying to do. They just failed completely. And I'm probably going to give this thing a 3 out of 10. I just... I don't know. It had its moments. I would lie if I said I didn't laugh a couple times. But those things, the bad things just outweigh the good things ridiculously. What would you give this thing?
I would also give it a 3. Oh yeah, this one was like, if we just put something on a screen, we're gonna make money. That's what it felt like. They were like, we can just put anything, and especially they were talking about the credits. During the credits, this isn't a spoiler. It has nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
But during the credits, they had a song playing, right? And of course, it's a Lego movie. They do like the meta shit where they're talking about singing a song while they're singing a song. And they're like, these credits are really long, and they say that at one point in the lyrics. And I was like, yeah,
Can we?
I mean, they are. We're saying it, but can we do something about it? That's what the whole movie felt like. They were making all these jokes about the movie itself. And I'm like, yeah, those jokes aren't really jokes. Those are actually true.
Yeah, and they try to do this cool. I know this is a total side note, but they do try to do this cool thing with the credits, but it kind of comes off as lame. I mean, have you guys seen the White Stripes Fell in Love with a Girl music video? That shit's fucking cool. They try to do that with the credits, but it's just like the still versions of it's like a fucking screenshot. You know what I mean?
I think the credits were more about the I think that was that's a reference to something else.
No, I get that because they were doing the rotation thing.
That's probably something.
I get it completely, but like it just lasted far too long.
They literally say that in the song. It's like 5 minutes long. They're like, the song is going on forever, yeah. And I'm like,
and I'm all for giving credit where credit is due for the film because as much as I didn't have any sort of positive gravitation toward this movie, there's still hard work involved, and I totally understand that. You know what I mean? For what they were trying to do with the credits, it also failed. Everything failed with this movie, and I think we could just leave it at that.
Yeah.
If you're probably gonna watch this anyways because it's gonna make so much money, but I just wouldn't recommend it. If you're not a fan of the Lego movies or whatever, definitely don't watch this. If you're not looking to get disappointed, don't watch this.
I mean, the kids in the theater enjoyed the hell out of it.
Oh, they were having a riot with this thing, yeah.
So, and the thing is, though, I feel like the little kids, if you're probably above like 9 or 10 years old, you're probably not going to even like this thing.
No.
So,
well,
I guess,
here's to the next Lego Movie 1. Let's hope we get another surprise like this soon because with this franchise, it feels like they're going the Pixar path where they're just going to make kids movies and try and sell as many Legos as possible, which really sucks. But whatever. Okay. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Everything is